morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you for being here with us today on the start of our journey of WiBE World that we do by listening to success stories of three strong young women who will pave a way for many others to follow. WiBE World is about women in built environment. It has a vast horizon, but to give it a tangible direction, this includes any domain in building and construction, planning, designing, building, surveying, landscape, real estate, etc. There are many such groups worldwide, but instead of detailing that what we will be doing, I would like to mention about what is that one thing that we want to do that is different from the others. Besides the regular challenges and issues, we want this platform to create job opportunities for women in their field of expertise and help them with confidence building and bring them to the forefront after a sabbatical or break in career due to lack of opportunities. It is a very ambitious challenge that we have taken over upon ourselves, but with the enthusiasm and grit of our young members team whom you've just met, we hope to achieve that. Starting the session, I would like to introduce architect Misha Mittal, who's the brain behind forming this support group. Together, we've been working on this for last 2 years with breaks and hiccups due to COVID. Misha Mittal's experience spans various domains in the UAE, the UK, and India. She has worked with architectural consultancies, academic sector, contracting, and the public sector. Her last key role was with the Abu Dhabi Department of Municipalities and Transport. Misha has also appeared as a guest speaker at many regional and international urban planning, humanitarian, and technology conferences. The other panelists from around the globe are architect Lolo Mattinson. After graduating BSc in architecture from Cardiff University, she went on to work for a large architectural firm in London who specialize in residential projects. Through this experience, her aptitude for software and computing became more apparent, which led her to current Masters of MSc Building and Infrastructure Information Modeling, BIM, for smart engineering. Her two areas of research are optimizing the collaboration between industries involved in the built environment through the transformation of digital systems with AI and machine learning platforms, and how the mechanisms of smart cities can begin to mitigate the impact of the urban infrastructure gender gap, which she initially explored through a research project based in Kochi, Kerala. And we also have architect Ekta Rakholia, who's a landscape architect at Foster & Partners, with cumulative work experience of over 3 years in small to large-scale architecture firms, landscape urbanism organizations, and research labs in Switzerland, Netherlands, India, Singapore, and the UN Habitat Urban Lab. She's passionate about exploring built and unbuilt environments through the lens of intricate connections between socio-cultural, economical, and ecological fabrics that shapes human lives and living. So we'll start the conversation with these three young women, see how their life, how they have chartered their course in their careers. So I have some questions for them, and they'll take one each of them will take turns to answer those questions. So that's the kind of panel discussion we thought that we'll have. We'll have answers on the same questions for on their journey. So the first question is to tell us briefly about what you do and how you reached where you are. So I'll start with Misha. Over to you.
Sure. Hello, everyone. So I've been thinking, what I do over the past 1 year when I had taken a break from work. And I have been in the industry for almost 13 years now, doing different things from architecture, from planning to contracting. And, I was in that rush, going from one thing to the other. And I did not have enough time all this while to really think about what I'm actually working from. When I started, I started with great projects. My very first project was working with a landscape design consultancy on New Delhi International Airport. So I was, I think I was just at the right place to set, what I want in the future. But then after some time, I thought maybe I should also, explore architecture. So I start, the building industry, building design and construction. So I joined an architectural design consultancy, not the landscape, but the building design. Worked there for a few years, again, on some very good projects, and I had great guidance from the principal architect. So learned a lot. In between, I moved countries, I moved cities, and since past almost 10 years, I've been in the UAE, working in the contracting environment and the public sector, majorly in the public sector. It's been a journey, a very interesting journey. Right now, I am working with an organization called Expo City. And before this, as you've heard in my bio, I was working with the Department of Municipalities and Transport. So the focus in both the organization is to create cities, sustainable cities. So this is what I've also contemplated in my last year, what I want to do and what I have been doing. So when I reflected on all my, my journey all this while, I realized, yes, architecture has been a part of, what I have worked on. But at the end, what I was trying to achieve was to build sustainability into the cities, into the city framework. And I've done that through the architecture practice. I've done that through humanitarian efforts, which were not necessarily part of the profession. This is the recent initiative where me and Deepika are trying to, work on another aspect of sustainability. I have also contributed to sustainability through volunteer efforts. So my mission is to address sustainability in a holistic manner. And beyond profession, I try to do that in whatever way I can. So this has been briefly what I have been doing over the past years. And how I've reached here has been, a process. I don't know if it sounds rosy or not, but there have been challenges at different forefronts, like moving from India to the UK and then moving from UK to the UAE, trying to find the right kind of opportunities, then moving to within the UAE, moving cities. So there are challenges at every step. There are challenges in terms of finding the right employer. There are challenges in terms of when you have to establish in a new city in terms of the legalities and the legal framework of the city itself. But I think at the end of the day, for whosoever is listening, it's all about finding the right support system, and it's about creating the right networks. So I have been, let's say, I've been lucky in the right place at the right time to find that network, and that can really help me to navigate these challenges. And I'm hoping to support everyone with whatever I've learned so far in my journey.
Thank you so much, Misha. Thanks for that comprehensive profile of yours. I'm sure it'll inspire many others. So now we'll have second panelist, architect Lolo Mattinson. Can we hear your journey?
Hi. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely at the earlier stages of my career compared to Misha, but so far I started out doing my architecture BSc at Cardiff University in Wales, England. And for a long time, I think becoming an architect was what I envisioned myself doing. And then I kind of, through that degree, took the opportunities that were presented to me, research projects, opportunities to collaborate with people in different fields, in city planning, in kind of smart city frameworks, just to kind of really explore what it was that motivated me in the built environment field. It's such a massive field. What really kind of grabbed my attention. So after that undergraduate, I then went to work in London at an architecture firm. where I was really lucky to work on a really wide variety of projects, lots of different clients, and it really exposed me to lots of different areas of architecture and planning and the built environment. I was also lucky to be in a company that really encouraged me to take opportunities that I was given, and they gave me opportunities to prove that I was capable and that I could produce the quality work that they wanted, which having that support system really builds your confidence, especially as a young professional. You need people to have faith in you and show confidence in you. So, through that process and through them supporting me and kind of finding more software solutions, more kind of less traditional solutions to problems they were facing, I found that kind of combining the software and machine learning with what I already knew that really, really interested me. So that's why I'm now doing this master's in infrastructure information modeling, which is really exciting. It's very innovative, and it's kind of opened up the doors, or kind of my field of vision, from what I initially saw to kind of that were solutions to these kind of city level problems, actual kind of solutions that may seem more complicated, but means that all these different sectors can communicate much more effectively and then can reach solutions quicker. So yeah, I mean, I'm at the early stages, but I've kind of just tried to take every opportunity that has been presented to me, make the most of it, and learn from it.
Thank you so much, Lolo. We would love to hear more about your software and technology and AI learnings, what you are doing, your work entails. I'll move on to architect Ekta to share her journey.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for inviting me here. It's really a pleasure to meet everybody. And just like Lolo, I am also in my early stage of the profession. I'm landscape architect, and before joining Fosters and Partners, I was working with UN Habitat Urban Lab. And that was just after graduating from my master's at NUS. It's been long journey and meandering path of last 10 years since I started my my journey in architecture, which is I think 2012 back in India. I did 5 years of architecture studies at CEPT University, and sometime in 4th year I also got opportunity to do the internship in Switzerland at Solar Facade Competence Center. So their focus was just to do most effective energy efficient solar facades. And there was something that sustainability had always been, part of my interest. But over the years, I kind of ended up having a lot many interests, especially inequality challenges, as being women in the industry, which is a whole another chapter in itself. So yeah, I was after doing internship in Switzerland, I was back in India and was not sure what path to take from all the multiple interests I have, and hence I joined an NGO in Ladakh, which is Ladakh Ecological Development Group. I think that was definitely a turning point for me, seeing the on-ground challenges over there, especially the effects of climate change in such a delicate environment. Driven me towards landscape, and then I did my landscape studies in Singapore, and now here I am. So yeah, it's been long back and forth, jumping from one thing to another. At times, people not understanding why why we are doing that, but yeah, I'm finally here, and it's now in the hindsight, everything makes sense. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ekta. But I think all of us do that, because architecture has such vast horizon that you want to do everything till you find your passion in that domain of architecture. I at my age, I'm still doing it because you want to explore newer avenues where you can work on. So the next question, though, some of you have answered that already, but I would still ask you that question, that what was the factor that helped you? Was it opportunity, like Misha said, right place and right time, destiny, hard work, or good decision in specialization, choice of place to work? So let's start again with the same round. Misha first.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's a combination of different factors at different points of time. Finding a job in itself in a different country is a challenge in itself. So, and it's not always the straight way, to find the opportunity that you would find thousands of opportunities, but something that you would really want to do is always challenging. So for me it was, I wouldn't say it was one of the things, but it's, for example, moving to the UAE was it was just by chance as a result of the hard work that I'd put in. So while I was in the UK completing my master's, I was trying to look for opportunities into sustainability and green buildings across the globe. And that process was, I had applied thousands of places. I don't even have the count over the period of 3 months. And nothing materialized. So I went back to India, worked there for 11 months, and just out of from nowhere, one day I got a call from some company in Dubai that said, okay, we have received your CV. I had no clue when I had applied, but I did put in some hard work at some point that materialized later. So that was just by chance that, when I was, desperately looking to expand my horizon into working something else, I got that opportunity. But yes, it was an opportunity by chance as a result of hard work. Moving to Abu Dhabi to look for that job was, again, a mix of hard work and some crazy way of looking for a job. Just to give an example of what it was, for people who are watching from our session from the UAE, they must be aware of a portal called WiBE. It is something like OLX, where you can sell and buy stuff. It also has apartment rental. It also has job opportunities. So I found that government job posted on that portal, and I saw it. I applied. After 2 months, I got a call to come for an interview. That's how I was there for 8 years. I was hired initially for a small short-term project, which was 4 months. But then, yeah, it just went on. And similarly for this Dubai job, which I'm currently in, it was again a combination of opportunity, right place, right time, hard work. So as I decided last year that, eventually I'm looking to help cities move towards sustainability with whatever means I can. I was looking for people who are talking about urban planning in the UAE. And I came across one of these posts, which was, someone talking about that this is the job opportunity from my organization. I reach out to them with an expression of interest, and they asked me to send me the CV, and that's how I landed this job. So it has never been a straightforward process for me in my entire career. Even my first jobs were, just through hit and trial, trying everywhere to find an opportunity. So yeah, for me, it has always been a mix.
Thank you so much. So what I make out of it is that hard work and destiny led you to where you were supposed to be. So over to you, Lolo. How would you reply this question, that what helped you to get where you are?
I think it's a combination of all of them. As Misha said, I think I've always felt that at place in the built environment. I know this is the field that I want to be in, but it's where specifically that, even now, still trying to figure out where I don't know where I'll end up in 10 years' time with this profession. But so far, it's definitely been, years of hard work with my degree and finding opportunities. And if they're not which they never really do, just automatically reveal themselves, looking for these opportunities. So after my first year, I did an internship for 3 months between my first year and my second year. And I found that because I went to the book launch of an architecture book for an event that was run by WiBE, which is the Royal Institute of British Architects. And I just went and just started talking to this man who happened to be an architect who owned an architecture firm in London. Then he gave me his card and said, oh, if you think you might want some experience. Now I would have just emailed him the next day. About the time, as a nervous 19-year-old, I waited 4 or 5 months to email him and said, are you still looking for an intern for the summer? And then I went and met with him and ended up working with him for the 3 months. And through him, I met, lots of other people in the industry, and it really kind of opened up my network, really, just getting my foot in the door with him. And it does take a bit of, when you're in these professional situations with people who have been experienced in the industry for a long time, you have to kind of pretend that you have the confidence to go and speak to them. And I think that's part of it. Just ask the question, just go and speak to them. It will be fine. And I have to constantly remind myself, just ask lots of questions, get as much out of these experiences that you can. So yeah, that opportunity definitely helped me and gave me confidence to then go for more opportunities. So for the job that I ended up working after my undergrad, I was working there for a year, and I applied to them just because I loved their work. So this was kind of a right place, right time, but I applied to them because I loved their work. And turns out the partner of the company happened to know my tutor from university. So the partner recognized the research project I was a part of and recognized my tutor's work and the unit that I was a part of, the research unit. So then they called up, and because I'd worked really hard for him and continued to, I'm still in contact with him and do research with him still, like 2-3 years later, he was able to give me a really good reference. So that was really helpful for me. So kind of that right place, right time, going for the job opportunity, but also having worked hard. The combination of those three meant that I got to kind of get into that really good company, which has set me in a really good stead for other opportunities. So yeah, it's a lot of kind of a combination of going for the opportunities you want and remembering that although you may be young, asking these questions and putting yourself in spaces where people can help you and talk to you is really important.
Thank you so much. I think as of now, the answer we are getting from two of you is hard work and destiny, and to be at the right place at the right time. So over to you, Ekta.
I think my answer is also not that different from both of them. It's definitely the combination of all of the 5 points that you have mentioned. There is no replacement for any of them. But I think what additional ingredient I would say that have been constant factor for where I could be able to reach here were, one, not losing hope, because it's really brutal, especially as a young applicant with no job experience in initial few years. And yes, as Misha said, she applied like 1,000 of places. I had very similar experience, and and you are ready for rejection for every single application. So keeping the hope up during that time is something that was definitely one ingredient I would add to the list. Another thing is family support, though they didn't understand what situations our industry present, but I think they still were very okay with me taking fast snap decisions of leaving a job or going to the next, because one job is not what particularly working for my growth or something. So these two factors have been definitely the cornerstones of what have been just shaped my path till now.
Thank you so much. So we'll add positive attitude to the whole thing, that you have to be positive. And,
yes.
So
I had really difficult times when there had been interviews where interviews had been decided, but the people who are going to take interview, they didn't show up, and then that's really shocking. But maybe that was a COVID the side effect of COVID situation, or I don't know. I mean, there had been times like that, and it's really difficult to push yourself through those times, and you really ask your words and like, is it worth like how many years of studies you have done? Will it end up somewhere? So yeah.
And I would like to thank all three of you to have joined us on this panel discussion. And it's you who are going to, lead the way for this WiBE world. You have to inspire. So we are short of time. I can see we have only 3-4 minutes. If anyone has a question for them, please, they'll be happy to answer. I can see Namrata. Prabjot, Namrata, thank you for joining.
Sumit ma'am has put a question to Misha. Sumit ma'am has put one question in the chat box for Misha.
For Misha. Yeah, Misha.
Yeah, I will take that question. Yeah. So, sorry, I'll just go to the question again.
Yeah, that question is
right. So, I would say in the perspective of large urban scale projects, I have majorly worked on Abu Dhabi, in helping the government to plan one of the projects that is planned for 2030 and beyond. When I started working on that project, it was a concept, and what I've done on that project is taking that project from concept to implementation. So it's a 2030 project. It's being done in phases, and it's a mixed-use, transit-oriented development. It's a city in itself, with a population of 300,000 plus, 45 square kilometers of area, has mixed-use developments as commercial districts, and then it has a large housing space as well for the local Emiratis, and has something similar to Chanakyapuri, I would say, a government spine. So yeah, that is what about it. With my current organization, I'm working to help cities, not in the UAE, but across the globe. So we will, as a part of the organization, we are going to support the cities to move towards sustainability from the lessons learned of designing our own city, which is Expo City. So yeah, that is about it. In terms of small urban projects, I've also worked in Delhi NCR region. It has a project called Golf Homes. It's a township. It's not a citywide project. It's a small urban scale project, but that's what was the start of my journey into the cities.
Thank you so much, yeah. Misha. I think we have 1 minute left, and I would like to thank everyone on board. Sabina, you are here. So would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, Deepika. Yes, for putting this together. I think it's a brilliant initiative to getting these wonderful people and, here and everybody hear their inspiring stories. I'm sorry I joined in a little late, but I was, I'm traveling, but it was a pleasure hearing them all. So thank you again.
Thanks. And
Prabjot, please. Because from the beginning, I'm listening to all three of them, and they are simply, absolutely dil se, as if they have put in all their views and their struggles. It's very, very encouraging for the younger generation or other architects. During initial 10 minutes, I forward the message to join in 9-10 groups, and with that Anuja has joined quickly.
We'll ask now, sorry Prabjot, I have to interrupt. We'll ask Bhakti also to say a few words, because anytime we'll be...
It was, so very inspiring to hear the start of how their careers have started and what they're doing now. I think it's inspiring for everyone who wants to start career in built environment and hear from them. So great to know about them. And thanks for the joining invitation. Yeah.
Thank you. And we'll look forward to having you on board and guiding these youngsters ahead, and many more.